Have you ever felt like your phone or TV is listening to you? Most people think those smart devices only wake up when you say the magic word, like, "Hey Siri" or "Alexa." Myth bust? They don't. Privacy experts say these devices are always listening, waiting for that keyword. And sometimes they record by mistake. And here's the shocker. The average American over 60 is recorded, tracked, or filmed more than 200 times every single week, often without realizing it, not just by cameras on the street, but by the very gadgets we rely on every day, our TVs, phones, smart speakers, and even online searches. But don't worry, fixing most of this takes just 5 minutes. Today, we'll uncover 5 common places where your privacy quietly disappears and show you how to take it back before bedtime. By the end, you'll know exactly which settings to change so your devices stop watching you. So grab your tea, settle in, and let's start with the one place almost every home forgets, the TV. And drop your city in the comments. I love seeing where you're watching from. Number 1. Your living room isn't as private as it used to be. Let me tell you about Harold. He's 68, lives in Toledo, Ohio, and every evening around 7 o'clock, you'd find him in his favorite recliner watching old westerns. John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, the classics. It was his routine, his quiet time after dinner. One afternoon, Harold was on a video call with his daughter. They were planning a family trip to a dude ranch in Montana, something they'd talked about for years. He mentioned wanting new boots for the trip, the kind that would hold up on trails. Just casual father-daughter conversation. That evening, he turned on the TV, and there they were. Ads for cowboy boots, western hats, leather belts with big buckles, even horseback riding lessons. At first, he laughed. What a coincidence. But then it kept happening. He'd mentioned something to his wife or his neighbor, and hours later, ads for that exact thing showed up on his screen. He felt uneasy. How did they know? His grandson came over to investigate. That's when they found it. Harold's smart TV had a microphone built in, and it was on by default. Harold had no idea it was even there. Here's what most people don't realize. Modern smart TVs aren't just screens anymore. They're computers connected to the internet, and many come with microphones and cameras for voice commands or video calls. The problem is, those features are often active from the moment you plug the TV in. Your conversations, the shows you watch, even the time of day you sit down, can all be tracked and stored. Now, I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you because once you know, you can fix it. And it's simpler than you think. First, grab your remote and go into Settings. Then look for Privacy or Security. You'll find options to turn off the microphone and camera. Takes about 2 minutes. Second, if your TV has a camera you never use, cover it with a small sliding cover or a piece of tape. Third, avoid discussing personal things near your TV, especially if you're someone who likes to pay bills over the phone from the couch or talk about health concerns with family. If you're not sure whether your microphone is off, assume it's on until you check. And if you've ever wondered why ads seem to know exactly what you talked about last night, now you know. But here's the thing. Your TV might be watching from across the room, but there's something even closer. Something you carry everywhere, tucked in your pocket or purse. 2. The free apps that aren't really free. You've been told that apps need your location to work better, that they need access to your microphone to improve your experience, that giving them permission to see your contacts helps personalize your content. But here's what they don't tell you. A flashlight app doesn't need to know where you are 24/7. A weather app doesn't need access to your photo library. And a simple puzzle game has no reason to listen through your microphone. Yet thousands of apps ask for exactly these permissions, and most of us tap Allow without thinking twice. Carol found this out the hard way. She's 71, lives in Tucson, Arizona, and loves keeping her mind active. When her granddaughter suggested she try a free puzzle game, Carol was thrilled. It looked fun, simple, and the reviews were great. During setup, the app asked for permission to access her location. Carol thought, well, maybe it shows puzzles based on where I live. She tapped yes. Within 3 days, something strange started happening. She mentioned to her neighbor over coffee that she was thinking about buying new gardening gloves. That afternoon, ads for gardening gloves filled her phone. Then she talked about trying a new brand of tea, and suddenly, tea ads appeared everywhere, in her email, on her news app, even while she was reading a recipe online. At first, Carol laughed about it, but then it hit her. Her phone was listening, not just when she opened the puzzle game, but all the time. That harmless permission she'd granted gave the app access to her microphone around the clock. And the app wasn't keeping that information to itself. It was selling it to advertisers who were building a profile of her habits, her interests, even her conversations. Here's the truth that most people don't realize. When an app is free, you're not the customer. You're the product. Those permissions, microphone, camera, location, contacts, they're not there to help you. They're there to collect data that gets sold to the highest bidder. And for seniors, this isn't just annoying. It can make you a target for scams because someone out there now knows your daily routine, your concerns, even your health habits. So what can you do? Start by going into your phone settings, tap apps, then permissions. You'll see which apps have access to your microphone, camera, and location. Ask yourself, does this weather app really need my contacts? Does this game need to know where I am? If the answer is no, turn it off. Next, delete apps you haven't used in 3 months or more. Every extra app is another open door, which works perfectly if you're someone who downloads things once and forgets about them. And if you've ever been surprised by an ad that felt like it was reading your mind, you're not imagining things. Speaking of things that feel like they're reading your mind, our next place takes that to a whole new level, because it's not just in your pocket, it's everywhere you go. You might think stepping outside means stepping away from surveillance, but the world beyond your front door has more eyes than you realize. 3. Public security cameras. When you walk into a grocery store, do you ever look up and count the cameras? Most of us don't. We're focused on our shopping list or finding a parking spot. But here's what might surprise you. In 2024, the average American is captured on camera more than 200 times per week. At traffic lights, inside stores, at the bank, even on street poles you walk past without a second glance. And these aren't the grainy cameras from 20 years ago. Today's cameras can recognize faces, track your movements across locations, and link you to databases you never agreed to be part of. George didn't think much about cameras until something strange happened. He's 76, lives in Columbus, Ohio, and one Saturday morning he stopped by a cafe he'd never visited before. Paid with cash, didn't sign up for anything, didn't give his name, just ordered coffee, sat by the window, and read the paper. A few weeks later, coupons for that exact cafe started arriving in his mail. Discounts on pastries, free refill offers. He was confused. How did they know his address? George went back and asked the manager. That's when he learned the truth. The cafe had facial recognition at the entrance. When George walked in, the camera scanned his face, matched it to a marketing database, and linked him to his home address. All without his knowledge or permission. George told me later, I didn't do anything wrong, but I felt like I'd been followed. This is the reality now. Cameras don't just watch anymore, they identify, they remember. And they share information with companies who want to know where you go, how often you visit, and what you might buy next. For those of us who value independence, this feels like an invasion. You're just living your life, running errands, meeting a friend, and somewhere your face is being logged and stored. So what can you do? Start by being aware. Look for signs that say video surveillance or facial recognition in use. Some businesses disclose this now, and that transparency matters. Second, Avoid discussing sensitive information like medical details or bank numbers in public spaces where cameras might have audio. Third, when possible, choose businesses that are open about their surveillance policies, especially if you value knowing who has access to footage of you, which matters more than you might think, especially if you've ever felt uncomfortable being filmed without knowing why. And while public cameras watch you from a distance, our next device sits right in your home, disguised as a helpful friend. It answers your questions, plays your favorite songs, and never asks for anything in return, except your voice, every word of it. 4. Home assistant devices that's always listening. For a lot of us, smart speakers started as a curiosity. Then they became companions. You ask them to play hymns in the morning, remind you about medications, call your daughter when your hands are full. It feels like magic, finally. Technology that helps instead of confuses. But here's the trade-off most people don't realize they're making. Evelyn learned this the hard way. She's 72, lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, and her Alexa sat on the kitchen counter like a member of the family. Every morning, she'd ask it to play her favorite gospel music while she made coffee. She'd set reminders for her pills. She'd even ask it to tell her jokes when she felt lonely. The device made her days easier, and she loved that. One evening, Evelyn was paying a bill over the phone. The customer service rep asked for her bank account number, and she read it out loud, digit by digit, while standing at the counter. Alexa was right there, just a few feet away, silent but present. A few weeks later, Evelyn started getting phone calls, people offering financial products, asking if she needed help managing her accounts. She'd never signed up for anything like that. She hadn't even been searching for financial advice. The timing felt strange, too close to that phone call in the kitchen. She couldn't prove the device had been listening, but the doubt stayed with her. It's like having a guest who never leaves, she told me, and you're never sure when they're listening. Here's what companies don't always make clear. These devices aren't just waiting for their wake word. They're constantly listening for it, which means they're picking up everything around them. And sometimes they misinterpret sounds and start recording when you didn't ask them to. Those recordings get stored. In some cases, they're even reviewed by company employees who say it's to improve the system. But what it really means is that strangers might hear fragments of your private life. So what can you do? First, check your device settings. Most assistants, including Amazon Alexa and Google Home, let you delete stored recordings. Go into the app and clear your history regularly. Second, turn off the microphone when you're not using it. Most devices have a physical button for this. And third, move your assistant away from areas where you have private conversations, away from your phone, your bedroom, or anywhere you discuss health or money, especially if you're someone who values keeping those conversations truly private, which probably sounds obvious now, but most of us never think about it until something feels off. And if you think your conversations at home are private, there's one more place where privacy disappears even faster, and it happens every time you type a question you'd never ask out loud. The search bar feels like a safe space, just you and your question. But every word you type is being saved, studied, and sold. 5. Every question you type is being saved. Here's something most people don't know. Every search you've ever typed, every health question, every financial worry, every late-night curiosity is stored and linked to you. According to privacy researchers, the average person's search history reveals more about their life than their closest friends know. Search engines don't just answer your questions. They log every word, analyze how you search, how long you pause before clicking, which result you choose, and they sell that data to build detailed profiles of your health concerns, your money worries, and your daily habits. Richard didn't realize this until it was too late. He's 78, lives in Boise, Idaho, and one night he couldn't sleep. He'd been having trouble remembering names lately, small things that used to come easily. Worried, he picked up his tablet and typed into Google, "best supplements for memory loss." He read a few articles, closed the browser, and went to bed. Within 2 days, his screen was flooded with ads. Expensive pills, miracle cures, ads for memory clinics with aggressive messaging. He felt embarrassed, like his private worry had been shouted from the rooftops. "I thought I was confiding in my computer," he told me. "Turns out I was confiding in a marketplace." That's the reality of search engines. They treat your most personal questions as products to sell. Every search becomes a data point. Every click tells them more about you. And for seniors, this is especially risky because those searches often involve health, medications, or finances, exactly the kind of information scammers look for when they're building targeted attacks. But here's the good news. You can take control. First, switch to a privacy-focused search engine like DuckDuckGo. It doesn't track your searches or store your data. It just gives you answers. Second, clear your browsing history regularly. Go to Settings, then History, then Clear. Do this especially if you share a device with anyone. And third, recognize that search bars aren't private journals. Avoid typing extremely sensitive questions like medication names, diagnoses, or financial details unless you've adjusted your privacy settings, which is especially important if you've ever searched something personal and then felt uncomfortable seeing targeted ads. And if you've ever seen an ad that seemed to read your mind, now you know why. The good news? Every single one of these 5 places has a simple fix. You don't need to be a tech expert. You just need to know which settings to change. So here's what matters most. You're not powerless, not even close. Tonight, before bed, pick just one of these 5 places and adjust one setting. Turn off your TV's microphone. Delete an app you don't use. Check your Alexa's privacy settings. Just one small step. That's all it takes to start protecting what matters. Here's what I want to know. Which of these 5 surprised you most? Was it the smart TV, the apps, or maybe the searches you thought were private? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and your story might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear today. If this helped you feel more in control, hit that like button so more people can protect their privacy too. And subscribe because we're covering more topics like this. Simple ways to stay smart, stay safe, and stay you in a world that's always changing. Which tip are you trying first? Let me know.